Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I hope you're well and that you're off to a good start in terms of the 2025 season. My name is Paul Keeley, and I'm Director of Regional Development in Fáilte, Ireland. And on behalf of my colleagues across the organisation, I'd like to welcome you to this Dublin stakeholder briefing, which supplements the earlier national webinar, providing greater focus on Dublin's challenges and opportunities, and more detail on the work we'll be undertaking in collaboration with our many public and private sector partners to further develop the tourism potential of Dublin City and County. Now, to start, I'm going to remind you of some of the key points made by Paul Kelly in the national webinar, and then I'll explore the market context for our plans in the Dublin region in 2025. Informed by our industry barometer, Paul advised that all regions, including Dublin, anticipate volume and revenue growth in 2025. But to realise our shared volume and revenue ambitions, Paul referenced four key challenges that we're going to have to overcome through our combined efforts. And they are cost and competitiveness, capacity, concentration, and climate change. With the rising input costs and upward pressure on pricing, we have to work to support you in better managing costs and competitiveness within your business. We'll have to continue working on addressing accommodation shortages, reduced air capacity, and staffing challenges. We'll be addressing the concentration challenges as a central aspect of sustainable development of Irish tourism at both destination level and in your businesses. We must secure wider dispersal of visitors across the region, and we need to spread the business more evenly across the year. And finally, we have to reduce carbon footprint. It's the right thing to do for the environment, but it also strips costs out of your business over the longer term. So over the next hour or so, you'll hear from the Dublin Regional Development Team and colleagues from our product development, sector development and demand development teams about the comprehensive range of supports that will be available to support your business in Dublin this year. Much of our regional development effort is concerned with securing greater regional dispersal of visitors, and I'm pleased to be able to say that the combined efforts of Fáilte Ireland, you, our industry partners, and our other public sector partners and community activists is seeing us create a shift in terms of how visitors are consuming the country. But there's much still to do, and there's still significant opportunity for us, no matter what the level of maturity in your destination. Dublin is very mature, but within the city, we can unlock new corridors and neighbourhoods, bring the bay and our coastal villages more to the fore, and we have a great asset in the Dublin Mountains that to this point just hasn't been connected enough to the city. You'll hear later how our regional and product development teams will work with industry and other partners to make great progress to unlock the full potential of the region. Paul Kelly demonstrated the progress being made on seasonality at a national level. We're getting there, slowly but surely, and the shoulders are getting narrower. You'll hear later from my colleagues Liz and Niall how we'll continue to develop the Winter in Dublin programme to drive business at a time of year when we know we have room availability. And rooted in government policy and our own corporate strategy, we're intent on securing a sustainable tourism sector in Ireland. And to guide our thinking, we've consistently employed the VICE framework. We're working towards creating a convergence of our visitor, industry, community and environmental goals at destination level to create common good and prosperity. So if we use the VICE framework as a guide, let's take a quick look at the market context that informs our plans for 2025. And let's start by taking a look at our visitors. The level of overall visitor satisfaction is 89% nationally, and Dublin is at 84%. That's very healthy, but it does lag behind the other regions. And there's no one factor holding Dublin back, but it is notable that our coastal villages have seen a 19% decline in satisfaction since 2022. And together, we need to focus on developing and communicating the range of things to see and do in that part of the region. The other item that surfaced for Dublin was the need to make it easier to navigate the region by public transport, and we'll be working with the NTA and the 4 local authorities to secure improvements in this area. And Liz will pick up on the measures we need to address all of these challenges. If we look at perceptions around value for money, 60% of visitors are happy with the value for money in Dublin. And this is a worry, and it'll need to be watched carefully if we're to protect Dublin's competitiveness and its reputation. It's been driven by a number of factors. Overseas visitors are comparing prices with home, and it's unfavourable. Dublin attracts younger visitors than the other regions. Their budgets are tighter, so again, they're feeling the pinch. And there are more overnight stays in Dublin, so inevitably accommodation prices are also impacting visitors' perceptions. You'll hear later about the supports available to you on pricing and revenue management, and they're really relevant to tackling this value for money challenge. So, just to close out this piece on visitors, 63% of our visitors to Dublin are first-timers. The other 37% are repeat visitors, but they're much more open to going elsewhere in the country. So repeat visitors are an opportunity for Dublin if we can build out new neighbourhoods, the coastal villages and the mountains to offer fresh opportunity to explore the region. And on that 60% satisfaction with value for money, it does vary across the region, so we need to look at targeted responses. And behind the headline 84% overall satisfaction with the holiday experience in Dublin, the scores for different areas range from 73% to 93%. As Liz will discuss, our development focus will be targeted around food and drink, the range of outdoor activities, the look and feel of certain areas, and making public transport easier to navigate. Now let's take a look at what you, our industry partners, have been saying. Despite significant additional room stock being available, room occupancy at 84% was ever so slightly up on 2023, and whilst rate and RevPAR were down slightly, the long-term growth projections for Dublin should see this bounce back. In terms of 2024 revenues, Dublin fared slightly better than other regions, driven in part by volume growth and in part by visitor mix. Dublin has a higher level of corporate and business events than other tourism areas. And as Niall will discuss, we have ambitious plans for business events in Dublin. In terms of the outlook for 2025, there's a sense of optimism in all regions when it comes to growing visitor numbers. And the differences between regions outside of Dublin are not statistically significant. 77% of businesses in Dublin expect 2025 volumes to be the same or higher than last year. And this is informed by strong inquiry levels, positive reviews and consumer recommendations, good repeat business, your own investment in your businesses, and the combined marketing efforts of industry and the tourism agencies. So how do the communities within which we trade view tourism, and how do they see tourism impacting them? Our tourism approval rating tracks locals' views on tourism. The sample sizes for each locality are small, so feedback is best examined at national level, and local data should be treated as an early watch-out call. Now, nationally, communities are still very positively disposed towards tourism and visitors. However, half of all counties have reported lower scores in 2024 versus 23, and it seems likely that ongoing media coverage on our housing crisis and the pickup on international protests about over-tourism are all impacting Irish citizens' attitudes towards tourism. In terms of the positive and negative perceptions around the impact of tourism, in terms of the positives, people call out employment, economic benefits, the ability to learn about different cultures, and giving people a greater appreciation of their own built and natural environments. In terms of negatives, well, the obvious: litter, congestion, parking challenges, and pushing up the living costs. Added to this, we're seeing growing concerns around damage to the environment, pressure on public infrastructure, and personal safety. So how do locals view tourism in Dublin? Well, Dublin has an overall approval rating of 88%, which is down 6% year on year. Behind the headline number, it's clear that it's attitudes towards overseas tourism that's driving the concerns. And two numbers of particular note: 29% of locals are saying tourism needs to support improvements in community infrastructure, and 15% of locals are saying that tourism brings no personal benefit to them. So we'll monitor this closely and ensure that the concerns are captured in our destination development plans across the Dublin region. And finally, let's take a look at our environmental considerations. We're an island and visitors have to fly to get here, so we need to try to make the ground transport options as low carbon as possible. And of course, we have very specific targets to achieve in terms of reducing carbon footprint at the level of the individual business. We'll be working with local authorities and the National Transport Authority to support visitor orientation to better manage localised access and congestion issues. And last but not least, we have just gotten a set of baseline scores as part of our destination sustainability indicators, and we'll use these over time to ensure our development efforts are supporting the sustainable development of the tourism sector here in Dublin. So lots of food for thought in terms of challenges and opportunities. Now let me hand you over to my colleague Liz Halpin, our head of Dublin region, to start to show you how our 2025 plans will unlock the sustainable development of tourism across the region. Over to you, Liz.
Thanks, Paul. I'm going to spend a bit of time now taking you through some of the development projects underway across the Dublin region. Some of these you might be involved in directly, or some you might be aware of, or others happen behind the scenes, so to speak. So today, I hope to give you a sense of the scale of the work happening on the ground right across the region. But before I get into the development plans, Paul has already taken you through some key stats and insights for Dublin. But I wanted to take a quick look at some of the latest data that we now have from the CSO for 2023. This data shows that overseas tourists to Dublin spend €2.3 billion, whilst domestic tourists spend 490 million, and Northern Ireland visitors spent a further 90 million euros. The average spend was almost €600 per overseas visitor. However, for domestic visitors, this figure was just over €200. This difference is attributed to length of stay, with the average overseas visitor spending 5.6 nights in the region, whilst domestic visitors averaged 1.9 nights. In total, we welcomed just under 6.6 million people from all source markets in 2023, and you'll find more information about this on our website. But now I want to take you back to just over 2 years ago when we launched the Dublin Regional Tourism Development Strategy, which plots a course to 2027 for the sustainable development of tourism in the region. Very much influenced by our experience through the pandemic, the core objectives of the strategy are to optimise visitor mix, to reignite business events, to develop differentiating experiences, and to build Destination Dublin. The brand proposition for Dublin speaks to a vibrant city centre nestled between the mountains and a UNESCO bay. This strategy called out for the first time our ambition to focus on 3 distinct geographies for the lifetime of this plan. That's the city, the coast, and the mountains. This is achieved by working with all of you listening today at a destination level to focus on the strengths of our region and maximise the opportunities collectively for sustainable development. We now have 3 destination development plans either in play or in development across the region, engaging with many of you in the process. In terms of the specific objectives of the regional strategy, Niall and Orla will both speak to you in a little bit more detail about the marketing and distribution plans we have to optimise that visitor mix, business events and how important that is as an element of the offering for Dublin, and our own capital pipeline. So I'll focus on the development plans that we're working on, which are essentially the vehicles we use to give expression to this strategy. All our destination plans are developed with wide consultation as we collaborate with local authorities, which is Dublin City Council, Dún Laoghaire-Rathdown, Fingal and South Dublin, public bodies, representative groups, industry partners and communities to develop a shared vision and agreed action plan for each destination. So first up is the city, when we completed a midterm review of the Docklands in 2024, and key priorities that were called out in this review align with and will form part of a wider city development plan. Key areas of focus will be on ongoing support for the nighttime economy programmes as set out in the Dublin City Council strategy, a continued focus on culture. We will start to implement key recommendations of the Dublin City Task Force, including a reimagining of the Dubline, and we'll activate city-based festivals and events. We'll also initiate a neighbourhood strategy to differentiate parts of the city, whilst ensuring Dubliners are at the core of our thinking. We are expecting that this new destination development plan for the city will be ready to launch later this year, so we'll keep you posted as we get closer to the time. And next we go to the coast, where we launched the Dublin Coastal Trail in 2022 at Mehel, and this now consists of 11 locations north and south of the bay. I'm delighted to announce today that we intend to add a further 5 locations this year. They are Balbriggan, Donabate, Clontarf, the Port and Blackrock. We'll also start the work of identifying locations for 3 viewing points to get us those Instagrammable moments along the bay. And we'll continue to partner with businesses across the coast to support you in creating or enhancing experiences that encourage visitors to spend more time and more money exploring our beautiful coastline. Dublin is uniquely placed to meet visitors' growing demand for outdoor experiences. I've just talked about the coast, and coupled with the mountains, we can really offer a city break with a difference. I'm thrilled to say that we're now working with many of you to develop a plan for the mountains that is sustainable, that enhances the destination, that improves communities' quality of life, and that protects the environment. We're expecting to complete this plan this year. There are already lots of tourism businesses in the Dublin Mountains, and this year our goal is to create clusters that foster collaboration, supporting you and your business to further enhance your tourism offering. Another focus area in terms of collaboration is to work with key stakeholders and partners to identify opportunities for enhancing orientation and animation on mountain trails, thereby improving the visitor experience along the Dublin Mountains Way and across various loop walks in the mountains. So in summary, we'll have 3 destination development plans for Dublin this year, one for the city, one for the coast, and one for the mountains. Each will focus on developing the specific destination to give the visitor compelling reasons to spend time across the city and county. Core to the regional tourism development strategy is the idea of building Destination Dublin, where we work together across the region to develop programs and initiatives that are implemented throughout the city and county. Some programs are focused on physical infrastructure. Some look to see how we develop shared propositions across the whole region, and others focus on how we share our experiences and learn from each other. One of these program areas looks to improve visitor dispersal by helping tourists to navigate seamlessly across the region. Last year, we worked with a working group of industry partners to review our orientation strategy from 2018, which resulted in the creation of an updated plan. This year, we will start to implement this plan with initiatives focused on infrastructure, wayfinding, and visitor information, to name but a few. I've already touched on the work planned on the Dublin and in the Dublin Mountains, but other focus areas will include improving the experience at key transport hubs and optimising the visitor's experience of cycling across the region. Next in our Destination Dublin plans, we focus on food as a key part of the proposition for Dublin. We are putting the final touches to a new plan with 10 work streams, which aims to support, grow, and promote our food and drink offering. And we'll be outlining more details about this in the coming months and years. Key focus areas for 2025 will include growing the number of experiences, developing a food tourism network so that we can work together in raising the profile, growing industry capability to increase the value of tourism for your business. And we also want to pilot a model for industry collaboration. Jenny will speak to you in a little bit more detail on some specific supports that are planned a little bit later. One of the biggest pieces of feedback actually that you gave us during the pandemic was the need to create networking opportunities for you to meet other businesses and collaborate with them and develop a shared Destination Dublin. I'm delighted to say that last year we had almost 200 front of house team members become Dublin champions, just under 400 attended our Breakfast Bite sessions, and our Destination Dublin structured networking event for winter in Dublin resulted in 600 meetings. In 2025, we'll continue to grow these events, and we'll continue to reach out to you to make sure the content we deliver is the content you want. And lastly, there is no presentation for Dublin that I ever do that doesn't include a nod to winter in Dublin. We're just undertaking a review of the most recent programme that ended in January this year, and early results are looking really good. And we'll take you through all of those results and feedback in more detail in May and June. But if you're already planning your winter programming, please do reach out to us to let us know your plans. Needless to say, winter in Dublin 2025 will be bigger and better than ever. And so to close, I hope this whistle-stop overview has given you a taster of what's planned for this year. Keep your eyes peeled for updates, but of course, if you have any specific questions or feedback, or if you just want to talk to us, please do reach out to me or one of the team. So that's all from me. I'll now hand over to Orla Carrol, our Director of Product Development, who will update you on the plans for Dublin.
Thank you, Liz. Today, I'm going to share with you all the exciting projects that we are working on that will enhance Dublin and motivate more visitors to travel. We have a number of new projects being completed this year, but I'm also going to share with you other projects that we are working on that will open in the coming years. First up is the Little Museum of Dublin, and Fáilte Ireland is investing 1.7 million to make this successful visitor experience universally accessible. The museum is located in a Georgian townhouse on St. Stephen's Green, and this project will include a new exhibition and a new lift. Once completed, the new developments are expected to increase capacity by 45% and attract 215,000 visitors by year 10, adding another unique attraction to the city's tourism offering. Moving then to the Records Tower in Dublin Castle. This €2.8 million investment by Fáilte Ireland will see the one part of Dublin Castle that makes it look like a castle, the Records Tower, being opened up. This project sees the installation of a new lift that will allow visitors to the top of the tower, allowing panoramic views of the grounds and the oldest part of the city. It will also contain, across its 4 floors, a new museum showcasing Dublin's medieval treasures. Working with OPW and the Department of Heritage, we have big plans for Dublin Castle, and while not due to be completed until 2028, the plan is to develop a new world-class visitor hub for the castle. This will provide the orientation point for visitors to allow them to explore the full range of experiences at the castle. The visitor centre will include a reception, welcome exhibition, visitor facilities, ticketing and improved security. This development will provide easier orientation for the visitor and will improve access and views of the Dublin Gardens and the Chester Beatty Library, and better overall accessibility. Due to Dublin Castle being needed for Ireland's presidency of the European Council in July to December 2026, construction won't start until early 2027. We now have over 200 kilometres of new and enhanced mountain biking trails around the country, including Ticknock in South County Dublin. In 2025, we'll be working on the development of the facilities at these locations. We have spoken to you before about the €28 million investment in outdoor water sports facilities across the country. This is an investment of €1.2 million per site, and we are expecting the facility in Keeley to be complete by summer 2026. These facilities will provide those engaging in the activities with proper changing facilities and will help position Ireland as a best-in-class activity destination. I've shared with you the projects that are in our pipeline currently. Capital projects take a minimum of 3 to 5 years to complete, so it's important that we have a continuous pipeline. Because of this, we are developing a new investment scheme which will be open for applications in Q4 of 2025. This new scheme will be in line with our corporate strategy and regional tourism development strategies, with the objective of developing new and enhancing existing visitor experiences to further motivate visitors to holiday in Ireland and to ensure we have a new and enhanced visitor experiences coming on stream to 2030 and beyond. More information on this will be shared with you later in the year as we get closer to our launch date. Moving to festivals, we support over 300 festival and events around the country and throughout the year. Of this, around 50 of the festivals we fund have more of a strategic focus in their ability to motivate visitors to travel, especially in the off-season. 5 of these are in Dublin, and in 2024 they delivered over 865,000 attendees. This includes the recent New Year's Festival, which delivered over 50,000 attendees, representing a 48% increase in the previous year, which is directly attributable to the new events, including a music trail and venues across the city centre, as well as the fireworks display in Dún Laoghaire and Howth. A flagship part of Winter in Dublin, the event was broadcast by RTE with a national reach at just under 900,000. And not only that, we distributed the content around the world, which gave us a global reach estimated at 440 million in over 220 countries. St Patrick's Festival Dublin continues to be successful and delivered over 615,000 attendees last year, which is up 3.9% on 2023. But perhaps most importantly, it provides an economic impact of over €84 million. We are looking forward to creating another fantastic festival this year with Richard and the team. We will be shortly launching a new strategic tourism festival investment scheme for 26 to 28. This new scheme is aligned to our corporate strategy and objectives and sees a strong focus on regionality and seasonality. All festivals, even those we've been funding for a number of years, will be required to apply, and successful applicants will be awarded a 3-year multi-annual investment. When we launch, we will be hosting webinars to explain the scheme and help with the application process. And finally, I just wanted to share with you a key initiative we are working on with Tourism Ireland and Tourism Northern Ireland. We want to establish Ireland as the home of Halloween. Rooted in the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, this worldwide event can be traced back to its origins in Ireland. Ireland is the birthplace of Halloween, and establishing Ireland as the home of Halloween is a key initiative to deliver on both seasonality and regionality. The home of Halloween is projected to attract over 495,000 visitors to the island of Ireland in the first 5 years of the project, contributing over 140 million in additional economic activity and supporting over 650 jobs across the country. This is an all-island initiative and we'll be looking to work with the many events that are held in Dublin in October and November. Thank you for listening, and I'm now going to hand you over to Jenny de Saulles, who will share information on key sector and enterprise development supports for the year ahead.
Thank you, Orla. You'll have seen in the national session that our business supports align with our strategic priorities under 4 focus areas. We discussed climate action, people and industry digitisation in that session. So today I'd like to focus on commercial resilience. The reason is obvious. We know you are all feeling the effects of cost pressures around energy, payroll and input costs. We understand how these pressures threaten the profitability and competitiveness of your business, all against a backdrop of changing customer expectations and demand for value for money. From our recent barometer survey, you highlighted clearly what your challenges are, and we have a robust programme of supports to help you in the year ahead. We know that costs are the reasons why 68% of you had to increase your prices in 2024. To support you in controlling these costs, we're continuing to provide a series of cost management clinics throughout February and at key times throughout the year. These 1-hour confidential clinics with a business expert helps you with labour and payroll, business overheads, food and beverage operations, and accommodation operations. These clinics have proven highly beneficial for those who have accessed them so far, helping to uncover cost leakage, benchmark costs, and establish key metrics for tracking and controlling expenses. You can request a clinic via the Business Supports Hub. Places are limited, so don't delay. We can also see that energy costs are your #1 reason to be concerned this year. The best way to address this is by committing to our climate action programme. What's really encouraging is that participating businesses can generally make savings of 10% on their energy bills through simple measures, often requiring little or no upfront capital investment. So being a part of the programme can not only reduce your carbon emissions in line with our national targets, but also make a real difference to your business's bottom line. We recognise there are serious challenges around food and beverage operations, with nearly half of food and beverage businesses reporting a loss in 2024 compared to just 16% across other sectors. Providing a series of supports around food and beverage is a priority for us in 2025, and we'll be rolling out these supports throughout the year, starting in Q2 in areas such as helping you to rethink your operating model to reflect evolving customer preferences and dining trends, adopting smarter purchasing practices, re-engineering menus to drive operating efficiencies and enhanced revenue performance per seat cover, reimagining space and design to boost revenue per metre, and enhancing sales and operating efficiencies by adopting innovations for better customer experience. These supports aim to stabilise your F&B operations and to return them to profitability. So if food and beverage is a challenge for your business, we recommend that you access our cost management clinic, bookable now on the Business Support Hub, as the first step. As I mentioned earlier, our industry barometer report shows that rising costs led 68% of you to increase prices in 2024. We understand this is not an easy decision, and you're walking a fine line of balancing cost coverage with competitiveness. Recent consumer insights reveal shifts in consumer motivations and perceptions of value. With shorter stays and flat revenue performance in 2024, despite increased room sales, this means you need to work harder to present a compelling value proposition in our guest experience that resonates with your customers. If you're a hotel facing this challenge, consider our value-based revenue strategies program. These in-person workshops for general managers and commercial revenue managers aim to enhance your sales and revenue performance by improving how you present and package your customer value proposition. If you missed the workshops in Galway and Dublin, don't worry, we're hosting additional workshops in Cork and Portlaoise in early March. Booking details are available now on our live learning schedule on the Business Support Hub. And additionally, our complimentary webinar on Learnify, with a focus on adapting to economic shifts and consumer trends, offers valuable insights into hotel pricing strategies for the year ahead. And for attractions, activities and festivals, our strategic ticketing and business results program, which started in November last, focuses on a strategic data-led approach to ticketing. This helps businesses better inform and present ticket packages to grow revenue and enhance customer choice, value, and experience. If you missed the 2024 application, we plan to reopen registration in early autumn 2025, so check out our strategic programs section on the Business Support Hub for more information. Driving revenue performance across all aspects of visitor attractions remains a challenge. And later this year, we will offer a program on enhancing retail performance for visitor attractions. This follows a successful early pilot where many businesses saw healthy growth in sales revenues, balanced demand, and bottom line profitability. Achieving operational efficiencies is a constant challenge. We address this particularly in the business clinics that form part of our Employer Excellence Programme supports, working with businesses' senior management to identify new ways to do more with limited capacity, driving greater staff engagement without causing staff stress and burnout. Our Employer Excellence Programme senior management clinics and people management resources, such as Bridging Generations Toolkit, support staff in implementing more efficient ways of working. This not only enhances productivity and performance, but it also supports career progression and retention. If you missed our recent webinar on Bridging Generations with practical contributions from experts and industry practitioners, you can watch it back now on Learnify. This webinar and supporting toolkit offers expert tips on enhancing team performance. Finally, our always-on suite of supports can help you develop marketing and sales plans, reach new customers, grow sales, and achieve more with less. So remember, the Business Support Hub on fáilteireland.ie has a dynamic live learning schedule of year-round live learning events, which we continually add to. So it's worthwhile you to regularly check it and use it to plan your capability building priorities in 2025. And in addition to this, we have expanded our always-on options for busy professionals through our Learnify self-paced learning content to suit your schedule. And now, looking at accommodation. We know that without accommodation, the destination cannot grow. Without sufficient bed stock, destinations can't support visitor numbers, which impacts on economic potential. Fewer bed spaces result in fewer visitors, shorter stays, and reduced revenue. The Accommodation Development Team leads on the implementation of Fáilte Ireland's accommodation development strategy, utilising the accumulated experience, knowledge, research and insights available to provide a holistic view of the state of the market so we can shape practical solutions to support the development of sustainable accommodation product. 2024 saw a strong rebound in hotel investment activity, with transactions up over 170% to €950 million versus €350 million in 2023. This is very positive. However, there continues to be clear challenges around the development of new accommodation capacity for Dublin. Research delivered last year has given us clear insights into the future pipeline, as well as an awareness of the pain points in delivering accommodation. This has positioned us to strategically act on these challenges to support new capacity. We are now regularly monitoring the volume of tourism bed spaces and market changes. This year, we will track and report on accommodation supply, future pipeline investment, and the transaction market, i.e. the number of properties sold in Dublin. Insights from this research will support the planned development of tourism accommodation policy with our department, ensuring the right balance is struck for the visitor and the community. We will deliver several product-specific webinars to promote new investment in emerging accommodation categories such as outdoor accommodation. And in areas where new developments lack commercial viability, we are focusing on driving increased bed space capacity within existing industry. This year, we will engage closely with our regional partners and local authorities to support and enable the delivery of new accommodation for Dublin. This includes our ongoing engagement with Dublin City Council, as well as county partners such as Dún Laoghaire-Rathdown County Council on the Dún Laoghaire Harbour Master Plan, where we are supporting on the accommodation requirements for this site. We will also work with our regional colleagues to ensure that accommodation is firmly rooted in destination development plans in development this year. Thank you for listening. I hope this has given you a taste of the business supports, initiatives and programmes available to you over the year ahead. I'll now hand over to Niall Tracey, who will share the marketing plans for Dublin this year.
One of the key roles we have at Fáilte Ireland is to support you in building demand for your business. We do this through a range of activities designed to prime the market and build interest in taking breaks in Dublin. As we look to the year ahead, we know how important domestic visitors are to Dublin and how many of you rely on visitors from Northern Ireland. This year, we want to continue to grow domestic visitors throughout the Dublin region, with a particular focus on the off-season. The travel trade also play a key role in bringing visitors into the area and into your businesses. So we are expanding and enhancing our supports to continually get more and more experiences in front of domestic and overseas buyers. And with Tourism Ireland and our department, we have a new business events strategy, and we are excited for what this could mean for Dublin. So, on the marketing side, we target domestic visitors using a high-reach, high-frequency, multi-channel approach. What this means is that we are reaching visitors in many different ways, across TV, digital, press, social media, content creators, and many more. Because it's through these channels we can continually remind people what Dublin has to offer, encourage them to take action and to book now. Live TV remains an impactful marketing channel and allows us to effectively reach our audience at scale. Although in decline, on average, Irish people are still watching nearly an hour and a half of live TV a day. And we supplement this with strong digital video on demand, like RTÉ Player, YouTube, etc. Overall, our Keep Discovering ads will run for about half the year across ROI and NI. Now, a central aspect of our marketing activity for Dublin is Winter in Dublin. From November to January, we pitch Dublin as the perfect off-season destination. The campaign positions Dublin as a must-see winter destination and provides critical support to the Dublin industry over the winter period when international visitation is less prominent. The campaign will go live at the end of September this year in the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland and will be promoted across RTÉ Weather, national television, radio, out-of-home, digital and social media. We will also be busy showcasing the many things to see and do throughout the 3-month winter period through a 12-week radio partnership, through content creators and through our PR activity. And of course, we also have an extensive content plan across all of our owned Visit Dublin channels. This year, we are particularly focusing on the under 45s, as they, according to our research, are the most open to a city break in Dublin during the winter. Here's an example of some of the ads we are planning to use this year.
Winter in Dublin. Where else can you get 3 whole months of unmissable crack, culture and events, iconic sites and hidden gems, top-class music, theatre, comedy and more? It's winter in Dublin. Where else? Plan your winter break now at visitdublin.com.
We also work with leading media partners to showcase Dublin and Ireland in a style and tone of voice that really resonates with their audiences. The likes of Virgin Media with their Ireland AM and 6 o'clock shows, as well as Joe.ie and Her.ie. We will work with content creators, strategically identified as being a strong fit for our brands and achieving strong reach and engagement on our core messaging. These content creators include the likes of Roz Purcell, Tiger Bryan and Aideen Fitzmaurice, who are all briefed to know our campaigns and brands inside out. Here's just a taste of one of the content creators from last year.
Also happening for winter in Dublin, there's Christmas at the Castle, the iconic Christmas market in the beautiful surroundings of Dublin Castle, as well as incredible theatre performances and candlelit concerts. There's even festive jewellery making workshops where you can make a thoughtful gift for a loved one while sipping on mulled wine. There's something for everyone to enjoy this winter in Dublin, including lots of great family events, gigs and stand-up comedy nights. Check the caption to see which events I'm most excited for from the winter in Dublin schedule. Head to visitdublin.com to see a full list of the events happening around the city. Hopefully I'll see you at one of them.
We know that social media has a significant influence on people's destination choices, with 75% of Irish people using social media as a source of inspiration for travel. So one of the specific campaigns we have run on social media is our Dublin Secrets activity. This campaign shines a light on some of the hidden gems throughout Dublin that many visitors don't know about. We want people not only to go and see these hidden gems, but also spend time in the wider area benefiting the network of businesses around it. Here's an example of one of our Dublin Secret videos.
Do you want to know a Dublin secret? We're coming to you from the Phoenix Park to shine a light on a uniquely Dublin tradition that has taken place nightly for over 130 years. Every evening at dusk, the park is lit up by 224 gas lamps, which were installed in 1880, but since 1890 have been exclusively maintained by one family, the Flanagans. Nicholas Flanagan was the first lamplighter of the Phoenix Park, and more than a century later, the job of preserving the gas lamps along Chesterfield Avenue belongs to his grandsons James and Frank, along with their sons-in-law and grandchildren.
Similarly, we've been building and promoting Dublin's coastal trail. So many Irish people want to get out into the open air for a walk as part of a short break, and they are searching for locations and ways to do this. The coastal trail content helps people understand not only about the trail, but also the things to see and do in these fantastic coastal villages along the route. So our call to action for all this is visitdublin.com. This year, we are aiming to host 2.5 million visitors on the site, helping them to research things to see and do across Dublin. This number has quadrupled since 2019. Now in 2025, we do also want to increase the number of referrals to Dublin businesses to over 750,000. Now the referrals are counted when visitors leave our website to visit your website or your booking engine. This is a brilliant source of business for you that is completely free. Just make sure your business is listed on our site and up to date. And you can get listed or make any changes through the listings section of fáilteireland.ie. But we don't just work on domestic. We also work with overseas media with our sister agency Tourism Ireland. The Tourism Ireland market offices identify the right media, and then we work with them to design and deliver brilliant itineraries that will meet their needs and showcase the best of Ireland and Dublin for that market. In 2025, we are looking to host more than 700 media from key international markets, including Britain, the USA, Germany and France, and through the likes of National Geographic, NBC, The Telegraph and The Figaro. It is a great partnership with Tourism Ireland that delivers massive positive exposure for Dublin and Ireland internationally. When it comes to the business-to-business side, again, we work very closely with our colleagues in Tourism Ireland. In 2025, Tourism Ireland hope to make available over 60 overseas events for Irish industry to attend, giving you access to over 1,600 international buyers from all the key markets and beyond. These events include the likes of the PGA Merchandise Show, ILTM luxury events, the US sales missions, webinars in mainland Europe, and many more. So Fáilte Ireland will then work with you to help you get buyer ready, so you can present yourself in the best way possible for the different types of buyers. In addition to these overseas events, Fáilte Ireland also will host over 700 overseas buyers in Ireland on fam trips, so they can see firsthand the variety and quality of experiences we have available across the country. And of course, they get a chance to meet with you one-on-one in your business. We also host overseas buyers at events like Mehel, which once again is in Killarney this year, with nearly 300 buyers and over 500 Irish industry. So overall, we will help support over 40,000 one-on-one appointments between Irish industry and overseas buyers this year. Now, as well as overseas buyers, we have a thriving domestic buyer sector who drive significant B2B business into the city. We'll build on the success of our 2024 roadshows, bringing up to 30 buyers on a tour of Ireland to meet 150 industry across the regions. These roadshows include appointments as well as fam trips, as buyers are always interested in what's new in an area. And to align supply and demand, in January this year, we launched our new Saleable Experiences portal. This is an online platform just for domestic buyers and Irish-based industry who have B2B experiences ready to sell. The interactive map and accompanying online directory provides practical information and downloadable assets to support the buyer in making programming decisions. Already, we have 90 buyers using the portal to research itineraries. Now, this is a brand new initiative by Fáilte Ireland and one that we are very excited by, as it makes it easier for buyers and industry to do business together. So, when you're working with our regional development team to build new saleable experiences, we now have a powerful shop window to help you present them to Irish-based inbound agents. But getting involved in these B2B events, whether they are the overseas events, Mehel, or the domestic roadshow, isn't for every business. They do require a certain level of commitment and expertise in order for you to take full advantage of them. Now, if you are interested in learning more, I suggest you talk to your regional contact who can advise you on where to start, or you can register on the trade portal. On the golf side, 2025 will be another big year for golf, with Fáilte Ireland supporting the Irish Open return to the K Club and the Women's Irish Open back in Carton House. But this is also the year the Open returns to Royal Portrush. Now, last time the Open was in Northern Ireland back in 2019, golf throughout the country benefited. In addition, this September, the hosting of the Ryder Cup gets handed over from Bethpage in New York to Adair Manor in Limerick, in preparation of Ireland hosting the biggest golf tournament in the world in 2027. So working closely with Tourism Ireland, we are both leading out and exploiting this opportunity for golf throughout the country. Now, for American football, we are once again delighted to be supporting the Aer Lingus Cottage Classic in Dublin this year. And we are committed to this event to at least 2028. Last year's game brought in over 25,000 US visitors. And this year's game between Kansas State and Iowa State looks like it is going to be another huge success. Now, of course, you've heard the news of an NFL game coming to Dublin in the autumn. Now, we were delighted to work with the department in securing this event, which is huge for the city, not just because of the travelling support from the US and Europe, and the huge exposure it gives Dublin across the United States. 2024 was also an important year for business events, and we were working with Tourism Ireland, our department, and industry representatives as we developed a new business event strategy to 2030. At the heart of this strategy are three things: economic, social, and environmental. Economic, because business event visitors are generally higher spending, travel midweek, and travel off season. So they're the kind of visitors we love in Dublin. Social, because of the potential wider benefits of business events. Take, for example, the Autism Europe's International Congress that has been hosted in Dublin this September. Fáilte Ireland is working at supporting the charity As I Am, as they coordinate with the HSE, Department of Health, and other autism organisations to make sure that Ireland gets the maximum societal benefit from having hundreds of world-class experts in Ireland for 3 days. Thirdly, we have environmental. We know that business events attendees often have a sustainability expectation that is higher than the leisure visitor. So this means these events must lead in climate action and sustainability practices. Hence, Fáilte Ireland is supporting many of the business events industry to help them achieve the standards that these valuable visitors expect. So what does this mean for business events in 2025? Well, on the economic side, we are looking to support the creation of 270 million euros of new leads. We want to help you win 200 million euros of new business. And we're going to add about 700 million to the pipeline of long-term opportunities. For association conferences, we will provide 12 overseas association conferences sales events for industry and run 15 domestic events targeting conference ambassadors. And environmentally, we're targeting even more business events industry to join the Fáilte Ireland Climate Action Programme. Finally, our gala dinner venue, Capital Investment Scheme, will see Custom House Quarter in Dublin open as an exciting addition to Dublin's offering later this year. So listen, while we have lots of activity promoting destinations and experience, what can you do to help us promote your business? Well, firstly, update your business and event listing and receive direct referrals to your website from visitdublin.com. Use our brand hashtags and tag us into your social media posts to boost the reach of your message. And as a business, your social media, as well as your website, are your digital shop fronts. And it's where you can show off a lot of your personality and the detail of your experiences that you have on offer. So download the Keep Discovering and Winter in Dublin toolkits to leverage our activity to encourage Irish consumers to experience your business as a part of a break in Dublin. And you can download it from fáilteireland.ie. Finally, use Ireland's content pool. This is a brilliant and free resource, giving you access to 60,000 free images and videos that you can use on your websites, on your social channels, or in your brochures. Listen, we are very excited about the year ahead as we encourage even more visitors to come and enjoy the amazing experiences that you have created in Dublin. So thank you so much for listening. And now I'm going to hand you back to Paul Keeley, who will share some closing remarks.
Thanks, Niall, and thanks to all the team that contributed to delivering today's event. Most important of all, thank you, our industry partners, for joining us. We've shared a lot of data with you today, so let me wrap up with a summary of our key development themes for 2025 and beyond. Listening to the various contributions from the Fáilte Ireland team today, I hope you can see that what we're driving for is an economically resilient sector with sustained revenue growth. Growth that is better dispersed regionally and seasonally. With you, we'll deliver a 45% reduction in carbon emissions. We'll be an inclusive destination that welcomes all visitors. We'll make sure that tourism offers an attractive career to as many people as possible. And we'll work with you to ensure tourism is a force for good within the communities that you trade and live in. Unlocking the full tourism potential of the region is only going to come about through the collaborative efforts of public and private sector players. So let me finish by saying we look forward to working with you in a sustainable way to showcase Dublin at its best, attracting higher value visitors and growing their dwell time, particularly during that November to March period. Thank you, and the very best of luck in the season ahead. Bye for now.